For years now, we have seen mainstream comics get worse and worse. Less new ideas, recycled plot lines, and even worse, authors making heroes fight the most foolish things possible. And now in a new graphic novel, a younger Superman is fighting online hate groups and facing other teen issues. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I found out about this situation through Twitter. It says Superman takes on some of the most relevant topics of the modern age in a new YA graphic novel, Superman: The Harvest of Youth. This story sends the Man of Steel back to high school, where he'll face online hate groups and other teen issues. It says the hero Superman has tackled some pretty heavy issues before, but his next adventure may be his most important one yet: fighting the internet. It says DC has announced an upcoming YA graphic novel that features Clark Kent encountering the influential nature of hateful online subcultures. Now, they do point out a few times that this is a young adult graphic novel, but at the same time, I just don't see how this could be interesting to this audience. With a young adult focused story, yes, I get that appeal for younger audiences so they can relate to the character, yet what 14-year-olds are looking to read books about internet radicalization? It just doesn't make sense why this is the storyline you would go with. It says in the Man of Steel's long history as a comic book icon, he's done more than just punch villains. Superman's stories have often been used to touch on serious real-world issues. Racism, immigration, abuse, discrimination are just some of the heavy topics Clark Kent has seen in his personal and superhero lives. It says since his creation, he has fought for social justice and been an outspoken advocate for the rights of all people. Now, while we used to enjoy the way that they told these stories through this character, unfortunately lately, they have been doing it in the worst way possible. They have been shoving as many narratives into their writing as possible, and we've even seen these authors attack people for not enjoying the stories being told. I mean, if we look at the situation from just a few months ago, despite Tom Taylor's deflection, new sales numbers show DC Comics' woke Superman is a loser. Nobody wants to read stories about Superman going to climate change rallies and talking about how there's no plan B and you need to make Earth safe again and school strike for climate justice. These are not the stories that people want to read. It says, though, and a new graphic novel plans to show just how DC's greatest hero can deal with one of the most worrying topics facing young minds today. During SDCC, the publisher revealed Superman: The Harvest of Youth, a graphic novel, and the book reimagines Clark Kent as a modern teen attending Smallville High, grappling with several real issues facing teens today. This is another major problem. They are reimagining Superman yet again. I mean, like I just mentioned, we saw a reimagining for Superman only a couple of months ago. Tom Taylor was creating a woke Superman, a bisexual Superman who fought for climate justice. And now we're getting another reimagining of Superman as a modern teen grappling with real issues like online hate groups. It says the Man of Steel is going to face the mortality of his friends and family, teen isolation, and the seductive nature of online subcultures built all around hate and anger. Joining Clark in this adventure are the well-known figures from Superman's history like Lana Lang, as well as new characters for the youth hero to bond with. Of course, they need to throw in a couple of notable names here so that maybe people will go, oh, hey, I know that character. I'm going to purchase this because I want to see what they're doing with these characters, but it's just not going to work. These people didn't get hired at DC for wanting to write comic books and respecting these characters' legacies. They were hired because DC wanted people with certain stances to put their political opinions on paper, and then we end up with content like this. These people aren't comic book writers, they're activist hacks who couldn't make it in any other industry. They don't deserve to use the name Superman in a comic, and the people running DC don't deserve the paychecks that they're getting. This is the best content they can put out, which is an absolute disgrace to these characters. It says, one particularly interesting aspect of the announcement was the mention that Clark would come face to face with hateful online groups and see the influence that they can have on developing minds. This is a relatively new topic that is just starting to get attention in the real world, and it's certainly something Superman can't fight with his fists. How is this going to be interesting to read? Listening to Superman's point of view as he sits in front of a computer screen? I just don't see why people would go, oh yeah, this is a great concept for a book. People are definitely going to love this. It sounds absurd. Fans don't want to read stories like this. Instead of making content people actually want and writing good fictional stories, they're focused on what statements and narratives they can throw into comics, what political statements of the week they can make and divide their fan base. And that's what they're doing here. They're talking about online hate groups that Superman can't fight with his fists. This is the reason why independent creators are doing amazing. Look at Rippaverse Comics and the millions already made. It's because mainstream companies are putting out garbage like this and readers are looking for something different. And like I mentioned, they've already messed around with Superman. This article was from March. It says DC Comics and writer Tom Taylor's gay Superman book, Superman Son of Kal-El, completely fell out of the top 50 sales chart for the month of February. And keep in mind, this was the series where he was also fighting for climate justice. It says, Taylor has consistently attempted to defend his book sales, albeit without providing any numbers, but the reality of time continues to prove his assertions simply aren't true. Back in February, he attempted to defend the book sales, but actually confused the book's placement on the sales chart in November to the issue of the book. It says, though, he even bragged about the fact that it was in the top 10 as part of his thread writing on Twitter. Now, this was pretty confusing. I don't believe a story's worth is measured by its sales, but our Superman is selling pretty well. However, the book's 6th issue didn't release until January, so it wouldn't be on the December sales chart. The book's annual did release in December, and it did not show up in the top 50 chart when looking at total units. The annual did place 45th on the top 50 comic books by dollar chart. Unfortunately, they want away with the Superman that people loved, and they want to create new different Supermen who are doing things like fighting for climate justice and also fighting online hate groups. These are not stories that are going to sell. I know I will not be purchasing this series. I don't really know anyone that would purchase this series, but I guess in a few months we'll see if it ends up actually on sales charts. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.